The Navy's C2 program's only one example of how it's trying to revamp the way it does business, but also the way it thinks. Navy leaders say that's the first step in the digital transformations you're learning about on this program. Peter Seidule is DoD Lead for Qualtrics. He says he sees one main key to success.
Whether modernization of, operational technologies that we see around us at this conference today, it's all really about the people and about the people building it, maintaining it, and using it, and really being able to hear from those folks to be able to build that into the process of delivering those solutions to the sailor and make the effect as great as possible on whatever solution that is. So I think that there's a really growing interest from the Navy and the Marine Corps to take in that feedback, take in what sailors, what Marines, what civilians are saying, and build that into the solutions to deliver, like I said, to make that the most effective. And I think there's a history in the DoD of some not always doing that, right? Of being a little slow, these are the requirements, we're going to build this. And I think I'm really seeing with industry support that changing, and leaders being very determined to change that and to listen to their people and go make the best possible solutions for a sailor.
What are the steps that people are taking inside the military to do that are effective? And where is there still room to improve in getting that feedback from the end user to learn this is what we really need to make this do?
Right. I think what it can seem daunting to start that process, right? Where do we start listening? And what we always tell our customers is you can't compare anything if you've never taken any measurements. So just take a moment and measure, right? Whether that's usage metrics or more, we call the more operational data, or just asking a simple question, not overthinking it, not making it super difficult, but asking that first question, set a baseline for both that you can understand the solution that you're measuring, the modernization effort that you're measuring, but also understand what questions matter. What are people, is this interesting when we get responses to this? Is this data set useful for building out that next solution? And so I think, what we always tell people is to just start. I think building those into true programs like we see in industry, advanced market research, and building that into every step of the development process, that takes time, but just measuring something and have something to compare it to has really been transformational that we've been able to see with our customers across the Navy, and just have that data point to compare to in the future.
So that the data situation, how much of the challenge do you think the services are having with not having enough data? How much of a problem are they having with maybe having too much data, collecting too much and not being able to parse it well? And how much from having the wrong data or the wrong information from which to judge, okay, the people are happy with what we have given them, or they're not happy with what we have given them, and how to readjust?
Right. And I think, so there's a million types of data. In my world, we divide those into two kind of buckets. Operational data of who did what, when, what's happening. The data, when we say big data, that's what we're thinking, right? So much of that, right? Very distributed, lots of problems getting those into the right places. But then the experience data, asking what anyone thinks about anything, there's actually not that much, right? And so that's what I'm saying, get that first measurement to start. Because once you kind of get that ball rolling down the hill, then that little bit of experience data can really enrich all that operational data that we're seeing, and really bring those two things together and make things make sense to the leaders.
Do you find that organizations, when they do that first cut, are scared because they think they're going to get lousy results? People won't like what we have?
Absolutely. I call it that they're worried that we're going to be the tattletale machine. So that's what I always tell people. And one of my favorite things about, I'm lucky enough to work across the DoD.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is actually the data that we get on that first run is actually better than leaders think it's going to be.
Interesting.
Because the whiners and complainers, just like anything in life, if you go on social media, you go on a review site, you're going to get the most negative people that are going to come up to the top, right? And that's what they're used to hearing. They hear it from, this data calling this, oh my God, this and that. But then actually the neutral or slightly above neutral people, especially, the kind of mostly satisfied, is actually usually the preponderance of the folks that you can improve their experience, but they're not there to be scary. And so that's been a really amazing thing to see, is putting that data in front of leaders and being it's not as bad as you think it is. Here's how we can actually go improve it. But we're not starting from this place over here. We're actually in a better spot than you thought we were.
Peter Seidule of Qualtrics.